Welcome to my channel. This is the sixth video tutorial in the Python series, and in this video I'll cover casting. So now let us understand what is casting. So there might be times when you want to specify a particular type onto a variable. For example, you want your variable a to be of int type, and that is like you want to convert a float variable or cast a float variable into an int. So that time we use the method called as casting. There are three ways in which we can, three functions which we can use to do the casting. One is the int function. It constructs an integer number from integers, floats or string, but provided that the string represents a whole number. So what it does is it casts integers, floats or string into an integer, provided that the string represents a whole number. What the float function does is it constructs a float number from integers, float or strings, provided that the string represents a float or an integer. And in similar way, the str function constructs a string from different data types including strings, integers and float. I know that you might not have understood these things in the proper way, so let's now go to the implementing part. Let's take a variable way, and suppose you want to cast an integer like 1 into int, so it will be a 12 into int. So it doesn't matter here because 12 is already an integer. So when we cast the 12 into a integer, it will return integer itself. It will be 12, answer will be 12 here. And now suppose we have b and we want to cast 2.8, which is of float type, into an integer type. In that case our answer will be 2 since it is converted into int. Now we have c equal to int of 3, which is the string type, and here we will have our output as 3. So now let us print that. Print a, print b, print c. This is about int function. Now we'll use the float function. Suppose here you want to convert an integer into float type or cast it into that, then we can use float of 12. So what it will return is, since we are casting an integer into a float, it will add 0.0 to it. That is, our output will be 12.0, and here our b is excuse me, float of 12.8. Since this is already a float, so our output will be the same, that is 12.8. Now we have c equal to, we are casting a string into that, 4. So here, since it is getting converted into float or casted, we'll have our output as 4.0. This is about float casting. And then we have strings. Suppose we want to cast any integer to a string like 13, then here we will have our output as 13 since it is getting converted to a string. Now b equal to str of 13.9. This is a float and it is getting casted into string type, so our output will be the string 13.9, and then let c be any string. Here, since we are passing a string, so the output will be string itself. It will be 3. Now we want to print these statements, so we'll use this once again. Control plus C. We'll save that as enter, and now we'll see the output. Python 6.py. Now let's see that. Here first, as we had discussed earlier, it will be printed 12, since 12 which is passed is an integer and we are casting it into it, so it is 12. Here we have passed a float and we want to cast it into integer, so when we use that, our output will be 2. Here it is the same, and here we have our output as expected output as 3, and here we find that it is 3. So this is of int function. Now the float function, here we find that the 12 which is an integer is converted into float, and the output here is 12.0 as expected, and 12.8 there is no change, and here the string 4 is converted into a float and the output is 4.0 as expected. And the last which we have here is we are converting it into a string, and it has been converted, but it will represent this in the same way. So that's it about casting in this video, and thank you for watching my videos. Like and do subscribe my channel. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.